According to historical accounts, Namibia's Liberation Army arrived back home after military training from various countries, and the first mission was to establish a base at home. Their first camp was in Onganjera, but it wasn't ideal due to the constant movement of cattle herders. They then identified a spot in Uvudia, but they still felt that the colonial forces would spot them.
There was a man called Isaac Yashombe who was given the responsibility to look for a safer place where soldiers can camp and hide when they executed their liberation struggle activities. He was given this responsibility because he grew up in this area and he was very familiar with it. He then identified this place, Omugulu-Gwoombashe, for them.
The freedom fighters arrived here in June 1966 and constructed their training camp, but about 2 months later, the camp was attacked.
We don't know how the enemy got the information about this camp. In the morning of the 26th of August 1966, the enemy used 8 helicopters, a troop of soldiers and dogs to attack this military camp. They only found 17 soldiers, including their commander. Majority of them were on a mission to educate people, to teach about politics and just to make people understand why they were fighting, because some people didn't understand the whole idea behind fighting the colonial forces.
On that fateful day, 8 soldiers were captured and 2 died.
Tate Adam Kapolo and Tate James Amkwaya died in prison because they were shot and wounded. The enemy electrocuted the wounds, including other extreme violations. The ones that were not captured continued with the struggle until the country became independent.
The Omugulu-Gwoombashe heritage site exists today because of the events that transpired on 26 August 1966. The first monument, constructed in 1990, depicts a Soviet submachine gun used by the freedom fighters at the time. Then there's the shrine, symbolizing the beginning of the liberation struggle. A statue depicting 6 freedom fighters planning an operation is another striking feature. Experts say these men symbolize the 6 soldiers who walked from Tanganyika and entered Namibia without being detected by the South African Defence Force. It also pays tribute to every freedom fighter. Then there's the gravesite where veterans of the liberation struggle are buried. The Heritage Council is hoping to have symbolic graves for the 2 soldiers who died here in 1966. Natural monuments at Omugulu-Gwoombashe include the small water pan where soldiers would drink from. It has, however, not been rehabilitated. There's also an old mopani tree the soldiers used as a watchtower and an anthill which served as a cover. Somewhere within the forest surrounding the heritage site are bunkers used for defense. Then there's the most imperial monument of them all. Inaugurated 9 years ago, the statue depicting founding President Sam Nujoma symbolizes heroism not only towards him, but every Namibian brave enough to fight for what they believed in. Francis Shahama, NBC News, Omugulu-Gwoombashe.